Wow, there's an error. What error?
Where is it saying that?
On the live. Oh,
On
no, no, here we go. Wow, there's an error. What error?
Where is it saying that?
On the live.
On
Oh, no, no, here we go. It's your boy Sid. Welcome to the Speak Your Mind All the Time talk show. We got another hot one for you tonight, guys. I want to welcome my man, the one that's back popular, the man, J Tuck. How you been, man? It's been a minute. Let the viewers know what you've been up to and how you're handling the whole COVID situation.
Good, man. Things have been going good, man. What's up, Sid? I feel like I'm not a guest anymore. I feel like I'm family right now, man, on the channel, man. So shouts out to having me back, man. I've been doing good, staying healthy, hanging out with the fam. I haven't been in Mexico or anything like you have been. But for the most part, man, things are going good. Just ready for a possible football season. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think you said the key word right there. Possible is exactly the big question, right? Because everything right now is up in the air.
right.
And I discussed this on my channel a couple of weeks ago with the Star Gang, and I was on their show, and we brought it up, and we talked about the fact that there's a lot of factors that come into play. And
Right.
when you have COVID, and if you're talking about having an NFL season, and I said this before, putting an NBA team on a 14-day quarantine compared to an NFL team,
Right.
totally different. We're talking about 52-man roster, plus staff, plus there's so many factors to look at. And like I said before, if let's say Dak goes down,
Right.
Dak gets COVID, what does that say to our season?
Right.
So I don't know how you feel. These are things that I feel that are definitely an issue. What do you think?
Mhm. Well, it's funny that you bring this to conversation. This seems to be the hot topic button right now. And actually, just my last episode, we went in for hours about this COVID situation. And the thing is, what I was saying on the channel last week was the NFL doesn't have a plan of action. Now, I saw something on Sunday. I think the NFLPA is supposed to meet with the NFL, and they're starting to get like plan of action, like what actually does this season look like from a fan aspect. Because you think about the NBA, right? Even when the NBA started to have the mentions or the rumors of a season coming back, we knew about the bubble, the possibility of Orlando, what players are going to be quarantined, testing, all these different things. But with the NFL and just camp being weeks away, we have no idea what the plan of action is. As I mentioned last week, I live here in Kansas City, and they're talking about cutting fan attendance down to 50%. So if you've been to Arrowhead Stadium, Arrowhead holds approximately, 79,000. So that's 40,000 people that you think you're going to be able to cram into a football stadium. There's no way, no how. And so what I was saying is that I believe the NFL needs to step forward and just be honest, and not only with the players, but with the fans, because there's so many people who purchase tickets for certain games. They got travel things going on, hotel reservations, everything, believing that we're actually going to have a season. So I believe the NFL needs to really just roll up their sleeves, man up, and tell us what's the plan of action. Because when it comes to it, I don't see. So you mentioned, so what happens if Dak gets COVID and on Thursday he tests positive? Does that mean he's out for that game on Sunday? Like, there's so many different factors and variations that goes along with this pandemic. And football is the very last sport that you can actually put in a bubble. Because actually, I don't think they're going to put them in a bubble. So players are going to go home to their wives and their mothers and their family and their fathers. So really putting a lot of people at jeopardy. And I believe that, as a society, if we were able to flatten the curve way back in March, way back in April, what we kind of spoke about, then football was a possibility. But right now, with the numbers going on, how can we sit back and say we're going to have a football season where we don't even know if our kids are going to be in school? We don't, you could barely go to a bar or a nightclub, or, here in Kansas City, all the movie theaters are still shut down. So you mean to tell me I can't go to a movie theater and watch a movie with around 50 people, but I can go to Arrowhead Stadium and be around 40,000. So nothing's making sense. It's really going to come down to the NFL saying, are becoming or being what everyone believes they are, which is this big bad organization where all they care about is money. But I don't think they can take the PR hit. So I personally believe it's really going to be very hard to pull off football season. Just read an article where college football is probably not going to happen. So that's probably going to be the first domino effect. If you can't have college football, how do you explain having the NFL?
Yeah, man, 100%. And not having college football, what does that say to the draft next year?
Exactly. There's a lot of things that impact that. I mean, even you think it, not even just from college, from the high school aspect for kids who are seniors and they're trying to get a scholarship for college. How does that come into place? There's a lot of different things going on. And granted, if I know, you know, it's a horrible thing to be going through what we're going through right now. But I mean, it is what it is. But we also have to be smart, putting our families, ourselves at risk. Because, and I gave this scenario, right? You know, I'm not sure if anyone on the channel watches Battle Rap, but last Saturday was like the Battle Rap Super Bowl, right? And two players tested positive for COVID, or two battle rappers tested positive for COVID, and one was hospitalized. So that's just, you know, a small little, you know, fun little hobby thing of battle rap. Now imagine if, you know, a star athlete, you know, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen. But what if it was? What if Zeke's COVID was a lot more serious than it was? Like, does the NFL really want to take on that PR hit and that risk? Because that's a liability. It's no different from concussions and different things like that. And you got to think, with football, you're sweating, you're bleeding, you're spitting, you're doing everything but social distancing in the sport of football. So how do you have any structure around this game, which is going to be complicated?
Yeah, man, I totally agree. It definitely will. And you know what? I read the other day that they've started putting things in place to start having training camp. And some of the coaches have turned around and said, what you guys are asking us to do is impossible.
Right. And so you have to think on that aspect. I mean, you have the NBA, for say, players are already complaining about their hotel and their food and different things like that. So imagine NFL trying to really have a training camp with all these different rules and measures in place. And, you know, what really kind of sparked me to know that a season is really in jeopardy is not only did they cancel the Hall of Fame game, but they canceled two preseason games as well. And so it looks like the NFLPA is in talks of actually canceling the preseason entirely by having no preseason. So you got to think about these players that have been quarantined, locked up, doing, you know, whatever, just working out in their backyard. There was no rookie camp. Training camp might be with all these different measures in place. And then we're going to just toss these players out. First game, I think it's September 13th is Chiefs and Texans. Just cold turkey, toss them out there, and here's your football. And it's like, how can you do that? So it's just like there's so many unknown factors. And granted, you love football, I love football, we all love football. That's what we're here on this channel for. But it's just, you know, that's the last thing I think that are on people's mind is being able to have a season. Now, if the NFL was to come out and say, we're not going to have fans in attendance, or we're going to do this and do that, okay, then I'm a little bit more open. But as I said, right now, we have no idea. The NFL is just planning on moving with the season as normal.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, there's too many negative factors right now up there, and Texas is taking a hit. So, I don't know how it is in the States. I'm in Canada, you know that, and I think Canada's we've gotten pretty much control on our curve. It's actually starting to flatten out, but they're talking about having a second wave. But in the States, the curve hasn't flattened out for you guys at all.
Yeah, it never even remotely flattened. I think there was a few weeks where the attention was taken away from COVID, but it was still spiking. And right now, I mean, honestly, we didn't have the NFL draft in April? Yeah. And the COVID numbers were a lot lower back then than they are right now. So it's actually less riskier to have the draft way back then than it is to actually have a real football season. So, you know, I want to be optimistic. I know a lot of people on Twitter are saying, oh, Tuck's a negative Nancy, but I'm just being real. Like I felt like the NFL has always thought time was on their side, but now time is running out and they really don't have any course of action.
Yeah, man, totally agree. So we're going to get into some topics because, as you know, a lot's been going on in the NFL still. We know that Dak is, you know, the center of attention, and we're going to get to him. You know, I woke up this morning, opened my phone, and boom, Dak news.
Dak news.
So
Dak news.
We're going to get into that. But what I do want to talk about quickly, because I don't even like having these guys on the same page as the Dallas Cowboys logo, but we're going to get into it. Let's talk about the animal right now. The Washington Redskins.
And formerly known the Washington
There
Redskins.
you go. So the Washington Redskins announced on Monday they will change their team name and logo after 87 years of using it. In the wake of corporate and public pressure to ditch the moniker and the rival controversy. Okay, so we know that this comes down to we gotta say it as it is. The reason why is because people think that this is a racial logo and racial name. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know. Listen, I don't care what they are because the Dallas Cowboys are gonna spank them either way.
Right.
So
Right.
they could change their names to whatever they want. They could be superstars or what. We're still gonna come down, lay a little bit spanking on them, and move on. But what do you think about this? Do you think it's something that needs to be done?
Well, I think that it was something that has been mentioned numerous times. I think Dan Snyder has always put his foot down, like, no, it will never happen. But as we know, money talks. And I think once the public pressure started coming down this year, I think FedEx was going to be the top companies that are going to pull out. And I think they were getting other corporations on board to pull out. I think that's what finally got the owner's attention. Now, me personally, I can't say it offends me, but it's really not about me. And I think that's where we come to as a country. We have to start worrying about ourselves, worry about how it impacts other people. So I know there are people out there who are offended by the name. So, and I kind of compare this because, the Chiefs, you have the Seminoles, you have the Braves. Like, that is something that is paying homage to the culture of the Native Americans and different things like that. I'm partly Seminole at myself personally. So I take pride in being, Florida State Seminole. That's my team because it has a sense of pride. But the Redskin was always a derogatory term in the first place. And so it was kind of, where the name came from originally. I mean, granted, we've always just known them as the Redskins, but the name, the look, everything, it's just too much. And like I said today on my Twitter, I was like, if it was me, I would keep the Redskins name. And I hate giving ideas in game to the Redskins because, we don't care about them. But if it was me, that's the thing is, like, granted, do I think it's wrong? Yeah, but it's the Redskins and they're going through it. So, like, I don't really care. So, whatever. But if it was me personally, what I would do, I would keep the Redskins name, right? Keep the Redskins name and change the logo to like a warhog or something like that and make it more pig related because they always been like the hogs and different things like that. Yeah. And so that would probably be an easy fix where you can keep the name, just spin it in a different direction, and maybe have, pork skins at the game or, different things like that. And just try to change the image of the name. But when you have the name the Redskins and you have an Indian who we know the Native Americans' history here in the country, it's just a bad clash. So maybe they could have flipped it. But seeing them go through it, I definitely don't mind. I also posted an article about some random guy. He went out there and he trademarked like 40 different possible names that the Redskins could have to make sure that they couldn't have it. And so if they do decide to go with like the Red Tails or the Red Warriors or different things like that, they're going to have to come out of pocket, which is brilliant. I should have thought of that. So.
Yeah, man, 100%, man. I just think we should call them the Washington Garbage Pails or something. Just have a garbage pail as a logo.
The Washington punching bags or whatever.
They're gonna be rebuilding for the next 10 years, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, granted there's history with it, but NFL teams, they change. The Oakland Raiders have been to Oakland to LA to Oakland to now Las Vegas. Like, it happens. Yeah. So I think eventually, the fans will get over it. I think it's going to be a strong core of the Redskin fans that are going to be like, no, we're going to be the Redskins. You're going to wear their Sean Taylor jerseys and everything, like, not buy into to moving forward. But I think eventually as time progresses, people will get over it. So
yeah, I agree 100%.
They're not winning the NFC East anytime soon. So,
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, but I just want to jump in the chat. I want to send a shout out. The Boys 2138.
What's up, bro?
He said he loves the hat. Definitely a new hat. Got it in Mexico. I love it too. Definitely want to send out the shout out to Boys for Life. He says it wouldn't change anything, changing the name or the logo.
Obviously, I wouldn't change anything. Yeah, I mean, granted, you wouldn't change anything until those dollars start coming out of your pocket. I think that's the stand that Dan Snyder wanted to take. But
Yep.
once the sponsors and that money started flying out, he had the pressure to do so. Like he couldn't. I think what is their field? Is it FedEx Field?
I believe I guess I can Google it. I will definitely Google it.
uh,
Let's have a
I,
look.
I think it may
Washington Redskins Field. I think you're right though.
FedEx Field. Yeah,
I
I
think
think
you're
something.
right.
I think
Yeah,
FedEx is on their
FedEx
stadium.
Field, exactly.
Yeah, so that's like equivalent to the Cowboys and AT&T saying we're no longer going to do business with the Cowboys. Like, that's a huge hit to their
Yeah,
reputation,
man.
and not only just doing that, getting other companies on board to not support the Redskins. So it's it was something they really hadn't had no choice to do. So you know
And
um and I kind of forgot about this, but I saw it on my Facebook is that my high school rivals as well, they were called the Redskins, and so
uh,
now they're getting hit. So it was like two for one today. So both my rivals in the NFC East are getting hit to change the name, and also my high school rivals. So it's like, all right, so
yeah, I
let's
gotta
get the
agree.
Eagles
I
next.
gotta agree with the boys. 2138. He says as long as Daniel Snyder is running that franchise, they in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, 100%. So I'm definitely with you on that. So we're gonna jump on to the next topic. This one bothered me. And I know you saw this. We're gonna talk about Zeke. There's a
Mhm.
lot of headlines about Zeke. And the one headline that I saw that really bothered me, and as we're gonna do our little switch over here, running back Ezekiel Elliott named the Cowboys' most overpaid player.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm disturbed by this. I gotta admit, I'm disturbed by
Mhm.
this. Um,
Mhm.
and I saw another quote, and I love this quote because it says, "On the field, Elliott had arguably his most quiet full season to date in 2019, while still
Mhm.
rushing for 1,300 yards and scoring 12 touchdowns." By the way,
Absolutely, absolutely, and I agree with that. And I did an episode on Zeke a few weeks back, and I think the problem that people have with Zeke is that he's not as exciting as his rookie season was. Right? We haven't seen the Zeke leap and different things like that, the big runs, and so I think people confuse excitement with production. Now I know that this was his lowest yard year. I think he was like average 85 yards per game this year, something around that nature.
yeah,
But his touchdowns increased. But you also have to think about how many times were we playing from behind? How many times was Dak throwing the ball? So there's a lot of things that these mega corporations and media do not look at. They don't look at the full picture. They look at the stat line and say, "Oh, Zeke was down this year." Well, why was Zeke down this year? Because we were playing from behind. We can't
yeah,
if we would have been down by 30 to Green Bay and we were still feeding Zeke the ball, I think all of us would have pulled our damn hair out. Like that makes no sense. And so we were put in predicaments where we couldn't really just feed Zeke. But he still had, 1,300 yards and he was still productive. His touchdowns increased. Like, I don't know what it is. So to answer your question, when it comes to Zeke being the most overpaid, I would absolutely disagree. Now, should we have paid him as soon? That's a different conversation. But I would have to take Zeke out of the overpaid player because actually, when you look at Zeke's deal, it's pretty much a damn good deal compared to what Christian McCaffrey just got and probably what Saquon's going to get. So
yep.
the Cowboys really got ahead of the board on the Zeke deal. So Zeke being overpaid, absolutely not. So there's another player that I might toss in there. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. I want to send a shout out to MCF. Just
What's
jumped
up,
on,
bro?
man. My Cowboys family. We're gonna definitely have him on the show soon, and I hope that me and you, Tuck, could definitely have him as a third guest on the show, and we'll definitely. We gotta jump in it with him, man, because I listen to the show
Absolutely.
often.
Absolutely, he's one of my favorite on YouTube's. Like he's one of the guys I was watching before I even got into this. I was watching their channel and just like, but my family isn't as immersive in Cowboys news. They're like, nah. So,
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So we're gonna get to Zeke because I want to continue on this. I think stats speak for themselves, and I added the stats to the stream right now because you can see where his first year, obviously he had 1,631 yards. 2017, we know what happened.
mhm.
He went through his suspension.
Right.
2018, he still had over 1,000 rushing yards, 1,434, and last
Right.
year he still had 1,357 yards. So
Right.
he's still averaging over 1,000 yards a season.
Right. And yeah, he had what I'm looking at the yards right now. So 1,300 yards last year, 12 TDs. So if you think about it from 2018, the yardage slightly decreased from 2018 to 2019,
Yep.
but his touchdowns, he doubled it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I want Zeke in the end zone. Like that's where we struggled last year was in the red zone. So honestly, you think about those games where we're playing from behind, trying to make the comeback, the Jets and the Packers and different games like that. A few more attempts for Zeke. He's right on par to what he had last year. And people forget Zeke was at the Pro Bowl last year. So what is it when people discredit Zeke? 'Cause I saw an article the other day didn't have Zeke in the top 10. And I'm just like, what? But here's the thing, and I said this on Twitter. Something with Dallas Cowboys players, they never get their proper recognition.
Nope.
And people are like, "Oh, Emmett." I'm like, "No." Like I've almost had like fist fights with people where like Emmett is never in anyone's top 5 because when you think about Emmett, all they say is, "Well, Emmett had the O line. Emmett had the O line. He had, so it's like always something to discredit when it comes to Zeke. Well, anyone can run behind that O line, and so it's like all these different things in place versus just looking at the player, looking at their stats, looking at the production, just open your eyes and watching the film and see that these players are one of the best, if not the best, in their position.
Yeah. I'm so tired, man. Everybody's attacking. Remember that because of what he said on his stream and because of what he's doing and he got COVID and it's always negative impact of anything. Anyways, Dallas Cowboys are always hated through the media.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just it's a news story because here's the funny thing. Like I was talking to Skywalker, shots at the man Skywalker. I was like, the media, like First Take and Undisputed and all these other channels, they're going to stretch this Dak deal out. So we're going to hear about the Dak deal for the next 2 days.
Yep.
After Wednesday, if it's not signed, that's going to drag on for the next 3 days or probably into next week because you think about it, and I personally guilty pleasure. I love Undisputed, and the reason why is because they talk about the Cowboys all the damn time. So today it was a Zeke being overpaid thing. It was Dak in his contract, and it was CeeDee Lamb wearing 88. Like that's the news. And so the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes was MVP, signed the biggest sports deal in sports history. And what do? Tie that to Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
How does that impact Dak? And it's the reason. That's why we are America's team, because we keep the lights on.
The minute Mahomes signed his contract, all I heard was, what does this mean for Dak?
Dak started trending on Twitter when Mahomes got signed.
Yeah. How is this going to affect Dak's contract?
Right.
I was like, man, we're going to get into Dak's contract on the next topic. I want to stick on Zeke because the boys 21-38. Zeke is the best blitz pickup running back in the game and the best blocking running back in the NFL. Zeke is still the most complete running back. I don't care. I got to agree with that.
Right. I agree, but that's the thing that Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, they're not going to sit down and watch that aspect of the game. That's not the fun part. They're not going to see that Zeke's a 3-down back, that he's picking up the blitz, that he's blocking, that he's still active in the pass game from the blocking perspective, and also for from pass catching. They're not going to see the completeness of it. It's just easy to look at those numbers and say he went from 1434 to 1357, and he's only got 85 yards average versus 95, so he's on a decline.
Yeah,
it's real. That's easy. That's lazy. It's lazy, and that's what they do. But that's what keeps the people going. It's like I said, it's just keep the Cowboys in conversation somehow, so they can get their sponsorships. And I understand, get your money.
Yeah, 100%. As you said earlier, shout out to Skywalker because Skywalker gave me the best advice that I've heard from anybody. He says, "Don't listen to Undisputed.
I know.
Don't listen to Skip Bayless." And ever since he said that, I swear I don't listen to him anymore, and I feel relief because Skip, he says he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, but the minute something doesn't go the way Skip wants it to go, he's trash. He's not good enough. Oh, I'm so disappointed. It's always something negative from him, and I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where a lot of people get their information from. They don't sit down and watch, the Cowboys channel and get, information from Broadus. Like the real Cowboys fans, we know. But the outside people, that they get it from there, and that's where they bring it to Twitter for us, and all these different things. I'm just like, But it is what it is. Like I said, they need us to keep the lights on, because if they sit there and talked about the Cleveland Browns for 4 segments, ain't nobody watching that.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, Zeke slipped last year. You know what? And I don't think it's his fault. He still had a breakout year, still had crazy yardage. And I think the reason why he's not getting recognized the way he should be is because of the coaching. The coaching, right. We forgot what was working for us. A lot of times when we should have been feeding Zeke, we stopped.
Right.
We stopped giving the ball. Or they pulled Zeke off, and I was like, what are you guys doing? You're forgetting what's working.
Yeah, and I agree. But all fairness, and granted, we're not supposed to support Jason Garrett, but I think what's really happening is, you think about that rookie year, it was really just feed Zeke, just let Zeke lead us to the promised land. But you also think about Dak Prescott is growing too.
Oh yeah.
And so and that's the hard part, is like, the passing game is open, so things were clicking with Dak for quite some time. So Zeke was kind of the afterthought. So what I think Mike McCarthy's going to bring to the table is how to utilize all of these weapons at the right moment. I think that's where Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore, their biggest struggle last year is not using the right weapon at the right moment. You go back to that Minnesota game, Dak was on fire, Zeke was, in a slump. So why, when the game was on the line, we took the ball out of Dak's hands and fed it to Zeke 3 times, and then at the end try to give it back to Dak? Like, no, like, you roll with the hot hand and you use these weapons at key moments, which I think we don't have to worry about anymore. Because I think Jason Garrett was looking over his shoulder. He was doing too much. He was pressing versus just watching the game, getting a feel for the game, and letting things take over.
Listen, I'm not defending Mr. Clapper. I'm not.
Yeah, I know. That's the one defense he'll ever get from me. That's it.
Yeah. I'm not defending Mr. Clapper, but you said something that's right, and I think that he was so worried. Listen, the media was destroying him. Yeah. The media was putting a lot of pressure on him. They were putting a lot of pressure on Jerry Jones. That's got to be a lot to deal with, and you can't be your mind can't be in the right place with all that negativity coming at you.
Yeah, and like I said, all fairness to the guy, I mean, we all have jobs in here. Imagine going to work knowing one slip up and you can be fired. Or they say, you know what, Sid, we really like you, but at the end of the year, you're going to possibly be let go. Like, you're going to be on eggshells every time you go into the office. And so it's like, but it was time for him to move on. I think it was enough. So.
Yeah, it was. I think Mike McCarthy is going to do great things with Zeke, and I think he's going to be even doing better things with Dak. And with that being said, let's switch over, because we definitely got to talk about the man Dak.
Well, quick question. Let me ask you this before we transition. Or did you already transition?
I didn't transition.
So to answer your question is, who is the most overpaid on the Cowboys roster then?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oof. You know what? I'm going to say a name. And I know I'm gonna hear from Skywalker. I'm gonna hear from Law Nation. I'm gonna hear from Big Game James. And a lot of fans are probably gonna write me after this, but I think Law Nation's overpaid. Law.
Okay. Yeah.
D-Law. Overpaid.
Yeah.
And he's got, and I said Law Nation, and that's not what I meant to say, but Law is overpaid, man.
Yeah. DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus
Lawrence is overpaid. And he's got to step up this year. I know. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick, and they'll probably kill you for saying DeMarcus Lawrence, but if I had to pick and say a guy, it would probably be either DeMarcus Lawrence or Amari Cooper. Unfortunately,
Cooper, he only got $20 million.
Yeah, but still, he's one of the top 3 paid right now.
Yeah, but he even took a pay cut. He took a pay cut.
I think the Cowboys had to overpay for Cooper because we ran the risk of possibly losing him. So it's like that was the reason. I think we drastically overpaid for Amari Cooper. So it has to become between two, DeMarcus Lawrence or Amari Cooper. But that was going to be my pick. If I really just had to pick somebody, because I like Cooper, I would say D-Law though. Yeah. So if they kill you, Sid, they got to kill me too.
Well, you know what? The chat is blowing up. Okay, so the boy says D-Law watch. He writes afterwards, ha ha ha, I knew it. Because he probably knew that's who we are going to throw under there. But he wrote
Yeah.
Crawford. You think Crawford's overpaid?
Not anymore.
No.
I think, yeah, not anymore. I think he was, but that was a few years ago when he got his contract. But I think Crawford, but Crawford had some issues. But I think he was one of the missing pieces from our defensive line last year.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Listen, I just want to touch on something. Mark Henry, I want to send out shout out to Mark Henry, our boy.
Yeah,
we did a show with him a couple weeks back.
Texans fans, fans.
We're gonna definitely send him a shout out. But Mark Henry, I want you to elaborate because you said any of their DBs. What do you mean? And then he just wrote Cooper is more dangerous now with the wide receivers that they have now. I have to agree with that, man. Listen.
Well, yeah.
The weapons we have going into the 2020 season. That's why I'm please let us have another season because our receivers are gonna do some damage, and when our receivers are not open, Zeke and Pollard, that's gonna open up. I'm excited.
It's going to open up a lot more. But, the reason why I said Cooper, there were a lot of games where Cooper just vanished on us, going back to like the Patriots game and different things like that. So to be paid like a top 3, top 4 wide receiver, like those are the moments when we need you the most. Like we're playing against the Patriots and Stephon Gilmore to go up and, not get 0 catches in a full game, different things like that. But I think Cooper had a lot of injuries, and Cooper is a different type of receiver that we never really had in Dallas. He's kind of more of the quiet executioner. So I think that's something that a lot of Cowboys fans, need to get used to. But I think now, especially adding CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be a lot more dog mentality, especially when it comes to our wide receiver core. So as you said, I'm excited, man. All them weapons.
Yeah, man. I'm going to do a segment on Cooper in a couple of weeks. Actually, I'm putting some video together because this guy's route running is
he's crispy, man.
Insane, man.
When Cooper is on, he is on. But when he's off, yeah.
That Washington game?
Oh, yeah.
Oof. He broke some ankles, bro. And he left some people tripping over the ankles and everything. Yeah. I'm definitely going to do a segment on Cooper. And if you could come in and we can do that segment together, that'll be insane.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So the boys, yeah, man, I totally agree with what he's saying. I hope Jalen Smith has a better year.
Yeah, I think Jalen Smith moving to outside linebacker versus middle linebacker, it'll allow him to flow better and do what he does. Jalen Smith plays a lot off of instincts because he's so talented. He has, the athleticism to come along with it. But I think he gets out of position a lot, which impacts him. So I think moving over to the outside linebacker will help Jalen because he can use his leverage, get on the outside. He'll be involved more in the pass rush. But then also I think Van Der Esch coming back will help Jalen drastically as well because I think they feed off each other. It's kind of just like having your boy out there. So, if Van Der Esch is rolling, then Jalen Smith kind of gets in action and vice versa. So I think Van Der Esch coming back will help Jalen a lot because we definitely have the speed. Now, granted, we have, my guy, Sean Lee still out there limping around. But Sean Lee can still get the job done. I think he can't just do it in the same volume or capacity he used to.
Sean Lee looked good last year, man. He didn't.
Yeah, he looked good. It's exactly. If Sean Lee's healthy, I'm fully okay. But you just never know. We're gonna get that alert.
Man. Sean Lee. That's how I see him. I love Sean Lee, and I think he had a breakout year last year. I think he has one more year left in him. I hope this year is the year that he gets that ring, man. He deserves it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, man. The boys is definitely that, man. Thanks a lot for being in the channel, the boys. Big things to come. So all you guys who are in the channel, please click the subscribe button. Go check out J Tuck's YouTube channel, Cowboys Fans Only. Click that subscribe button, and please click that subscribe button on my channel as well. I'm gonna have monthly giveaways coming up soon, and we're definitely gonna do something together. Me and J Tuck, we're gonna be giving away some limited Dallas Cowboys stuff to you guys.
Oh yeah,
on the channel. He said Law Nation put out his wide receiver top 10 list, and Cooper was ranked 10th. Where do y'all rank Cooper amongst wide receivers in the league right now?
Ooh. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's hard because Cooper is not the prototypical wide receiver. I mean, he's an executioner. So you think about Julio Jones, of course. I mean, granted, he's a diva. Odell Beckham, Thomas, D. Hopkins.
Yep.
Let me see. I'm just shooting
And
from the hip.
Hopkins got traded this year. That was.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
Mark, yeah. Mark,
I didn't see
you want to
that
talk
one
about that
coming.
again?
Yeah, Mark.
D Hop. So I would say, I don't know, man. Like I'm just trying to think about other receivers. Because think about this. This is a good question. If you had to place one above the other, who would you primarily want to have? Would you rather have like Amari Cooper or Tyreek Hill?
Cooper.
Cooper. And why is that?
Listen, I like Tyreek. Don't get me wrong, but I just think if we're talking going into 2020 season, are we talking about past seasons or we're talking about going into the 2020 season?
I'm just saying if Tyreek Hill is there and Amari Cooper's there, who do you take?
I would take Cooper. I don't know. Maybe it's because listen.
I know. that's hard.
It is hard.
Try to take off the Cowboys bias, like.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be biased.
You have the man's jersey on right now.
Yeah. Mark's hating on us, but I'll get to Mark in a minute. But no, I would definitely take Cooper. I think Cooper will, this year under Mike McCarthy, I think you're going to see a different Cooper. I think you're going to see a different team overall. I think we're going to see a lot of players step up this year under Mike McCarthy's. Mike McCarthy did big things in Green Bay, and he gained that. He even has more experience coming into the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he's learned a lot from over there and transitioned into the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah, man, I would definitely, I agree. I would put Cooper in in my top 10 as well.
Yeah, I would probably have him around the 7-8 threshold. Just like, yeah.
Yeah. So
just.
No.
He said Hill was 5th. Guess what? OBJ was ranked 4th. So, because I feel like with Tyreek Hill, it's like you get more bang for your buck. You get a returner. You get the type of person who can go over the top, the type of player who you can just put the ball in his hand on a bubble screen. You could do so many things with Tyreek Hill that could have impact. Versus with Cooper, I mean, like I said, it was just some games. I mean, there was a lot of games last year where you're just thinking like, where are you?
Yeah, but remember, something that came out late in the season is that he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper wasn't 100% last year.
Yeah.
And I saw a few games where he called himself out, but then he would say that the coaches were calling him out. There's a lot of things that came into the factor. And so I'm not sure. I'm curious to see what type of Cooper we're going to see going into the 2020 season. I just want to jump into the chat before you comment. I want to send a huge shout out to my brother, man. Robert George Joseph Hogan. He just wrote, "Hey, brother." Listen, I haven't spoken to my brother, and I'm not gonna get emotional right now, but I haven't spoken to my brother in over 2 years, and I just want to send a shout out, man, and let him know that I love him very much, and please keep in touch. And life is too short, man, with everything that's going on. So huge shout out to my brother. Mark Henry, come on now. Y'all want to bring up old stuff about Hopkins.
Oh, that ain't old. It is still new.
That's still happening.
Yeah.
That's still recent, man. Yeah, Mark says Cooper has to stay healthy. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The boys 2138. Hill was ranked 5th, and guess what? OBJ was ranked 4th.
Right.
Wow. That OBJ looks good. Did you see his video? Did you see his workout video?
Nah.
Because he's coming off of surgery. So yeah, his video, looks like he's coming back with a vengeance. So I'm curious to see what he's gonna do this year. I mean, we know he's not playing for a strong team,
right?
And there was rumors, and again, this is rumors that he was looking to be traded, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. All right.
And my thing with Cooper, like I love Cooper. He's just different. Like you don't get the drama that comes along with having an OBJ and everything like that. And like I follow Cooper on Instagram, man, and it's like he's a very sharp guy.
Yeah, he's so humble, man.
Yeah, he's so humble. He's a sharp guy. It's just more consistency is what we like to see from Cooper.
Yeah, man, 100%. The boys 2138. Keenan Allen and Marquise Goodwin was higher also.
So yeah. So you have to think about Keenan Allen. So
yep. Yeah. Mark Henry, knee and hamstring injuries. I think he's talking about Cooper. Yeah. That came out later. They kept saying that he was injured. they wouldn't fully come out and say it, and he was staying quiet about it too. Nobody wants to listen. NFL teams don't let you know what's really going on when a player is injured because they don't want to let other teams know that, hey, my number one weapon is injured. So teams get prepared for that and double coverage, and they adjust to it.
Which is why we can't trust NFL teams with COVID results either.
Yeah, man, 100%, 100%. The boys, I do miss Dez with a passion on the sideline, though. Yeah.
The listen, Warrior.
I'm still going through a depression about Dez. I don't, and I think we talked about this the last time. I said if we didn't get CeeDee Lamb, we would have probably signed Dez.
I don't know, man. I feel like, and I love Dez. Like, God knows I love Dez, man. But it's just, I feel like Dez needs to sign me as a PR manager. And, like, I feel like Dez constantly shoots himself in the foot with all the tweets and all the posts. Like, it just doesn't give off a good look. And I know Dez has always been the type of person who spoke his mind. Dez is the really real person who speaks his mind all the time, but sometimes it's not really a good thing. So I feel like he shoots himself in the foot a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, for a guy who hasn't played football in 2 years, he's coming off an Achilles injury, different things like that. He was already on a similar decline before he even got sent out of Dallas. Like, I feel like there's a lot that goes into it with Dez, and I really would hope he gets on another team. But personally, as a fan, I don't want to see Dez on another team. Like, I was there at that Saints game on Thursday Night Football where Dez was supposed to come back, and he probably was going to kill us that game, to be honest. And Saints, he was going to kill us that game.
He was looking for revenge. He was looking for revenge.
He was. And to see Saints fans walk around with the 88 Bryant jersey, like, it was just like, man, what is going on? Like, I feel like it's going to be the same way when I see like a Raiders fan in an 82 Witten jersey. Like, I'm like, you know, what are you doing? So, you know, personally, you know, seeing Dez throw up the X in another team, it'll be hard. I hope it's a contender. I hope it'll be like Kansas City. But if he was to go, God forbid, to like the Giants or the Eagles or the Reds, like, no, man. I can't.
Yeah, that's gonna be definitely hard to watch, man. I don't know. I like Mark Henry just said Dez will play this year in the NFL. He will. There's a team that'll pick him up. I totally agree with that. But I just, like you said, I don't want him going to none of the NFC teams, please.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't do, because I know originally they were talking about possibly the Eagles or the Giants. I'm like, no. So.
Yeah, Mark Henry, ugly.
Yeah.
100%. Listen, let's jump on the next hot topic because we know we got to get into it.
Okay.
Definitely gonna switch it over right now. Let's talk about the man that's waiting to sign that big contract. We know that 2 days, less than 2 days if we're really counting down. Clock's ticking, man.
Right.
Clock is ticking because Dak has to sign by 4 p.m. I think it's 4. Is it 4 p.m. Central or Eastern? Does anybody?
I think it's Central.
Let's see if anybody in the chat, if you guys know if it's Eastern or Central, please chime in and let us know. This morning I woke up, picked up my phone, and I do my usual Twitter opening, and boom. back to back Dak news. And a lot of it is Cowboys Dak reporting not to close a multi-year deal as deadline looms.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I want to know in the chat before we even – I saw this other post, and I posted it in as you see in the image right there. We'll jump into that for a minute. But do you guys think in the chat that Dak will be signing this year? And what do you think, Tuck?
I personally think it's not going to get done.
Oof.
I don't think it's going to get done. He's going to play under the franchise tag for that 37 mil.
The bomb just hit.
Yeah, yeah. There's just no way. I just don't see it getting done. Like, you know, I saw Jane Slater tweet also, like, they're not even talking about it right now. Like, there's no, like, Dak's not at the site in Frisco. Like, nothing's being done. And I feel like people were saying that Dak is comfortable going in franchise tag because as you think about it, there's a lot of uncertainty with this season. Like, is it going to be played fully out, different things like that. So pretty much the leverage is in Dak's hands.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm on the flip side of you. I think it's going to get done. I think it's already been done. For anybody to come out and say that they're not talking, that both sides aren't talking, come on, man. We got to be realistic. You're talking about the future of the Dallas Cowboys, the future of the franchise. You're trying to tell me that Jerry Jones isn't calling them on the weekend and say, "Hey, how you doing? Are you, like
I don't think so. I don't think so.
This is your boy, man. This is the.
But is it? But is it though?
You think Jerry's sitting back and saying, "Screw this guy. He's trying to play hardball, and I'm not going to play his game"?
It might not be this guy. It might be like his agent. And I think that what Jerry is doing is saying, you have to show me more. Now, from where we're sitting, we feel like Dak has showed us enough. But as Mark just said, this season might not happen. So if you're a Dak, you went ahead, you inked the franchise tag. Maybe there's a few games, maybe it gets canceled, maybe it's pushed back, who knows? And so you get that season under a wrap, right? Then we go back to next year. Dak has even more leverage, and especially if Mark's Texans go ahead and give Watson his deal. So then we can go back. Dak can go back to the offense and say, "Oh well, the Texans gave, Watson this. I'm not even worth that. All right, cool. I'll play franchise again." And granted, I believe in Dak. You believe in Dak. We all believe in Dak. But I feel like if the Cowboys really believe in Dak, you don't play games with your quarterback. You just get the deal done. You didn't see the Chiefs playing, games from Mahomes was saying, well, let's wait a little bit. Like, no, they went ahead and got the job done. And the Cowboys messed up because they didn't get this deal done years ago. They waited to the very last minute, and now here we are.
Okay. Do you remember what happened with Dez? Last minute signing. Yep. Do you remember what happened Law? Last minute signing. Do you remember what happened Zeke? Last minute signing. This is what the Dallas Cowboys do. This is Jerry's game, man. Jerry likes to... Listen, the longer I drag out the contract, the more media attention I get. That's how I'm looking at it. Okay, so you're saying that let's say we keep Dak under the franchise tag. Let's just say, okay? Mm-hmm. And Dak goes out, plays, and then halfway through the season, boom, the NFL decides to shut down the season because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
What are they going to be able to evaluate Dak on going into the next season? And the salary cap is going down next year because of the COVID.
Possibly.
So wouldn't it be smarter for Dak to want to sign now than take the chances of being signed next year? I'm just asking.
It depends on what the Cowboys' offer is, and that's the hard part with this whole Dak thing. We don't know. We don't know how much Dak is asking for, how much the Cowboys are willing to give. There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, we hear things, flashes here of 45, 43, different things like that, but it's just like we just don't know. And until we really have the numbers, we can sit and look at it and say, all right, now, Dak, you're out of your damn mind. If you're wanting Pat Mahomes money, all right, bro, you're tripping. Or if the Cowboys are being stubborn on their end, and I feel like there's a lot like we have two extremes and nobody is willing to come to the middle. And I feel like by Wednesday, I just don't see both teams coming to the middle and saying getting things done. Because I feel like if Dak had that number in his head that he's willing to sign for, he felt good about the contract, then he wouldn't have signed the franchise tender. He would have just held out and just signed it at last minute.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of factors that come into play. And I just realized I made a typo, and I apologize about this, guys. What do you guys think? I wrote Gus. What do you guys think about this? In the first 5 years of his new contract, Mahomes will earn an average of roughly $39 million a year. So to the Prescott camp can take that to figure to the Cowboys and use it as a parameter. Okay? Okay, so we'll agree that the fifth year, if you give us, say, $37 million rather than $35 million a year, that would be an ideal compromise. Because we all know that the fifth year Dak is asking for more money. That was the biggest thing. I think I heard that at one point he was asking for $35 million a year, but the fifth year he wanted $45 million. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, but let's say, this is a post I saw earlier. Does this make sense to you? So let's say the fifth year we say, okay, Dak, you can have 37. We'll give you $35 million for a year for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's worth that?
I think what has to really come out, which none of us know, is how much will be guaranteed. that might be the deciding factor of how much money is guaranteed, and then also how long is the length of the contract. Because I think, what Pat Mahomes did, he was 10 years for his contract, plus he already has two under for the extension. So I think that Dak doesn't want the long-term lengthy contract. If it was the Cowboys, they would love to stretch that money out over the next 10 years. Dak is thinking 3 to 4 and then have to renegotiate after another 4 years to possibly if the cap has gone up by then. But, Mark just said this, Dak shouldn't be aiming or focusing on what Pat Mahomes is doing. Like, that shouldn't even be in the RAM. So when people are asking, how does Pat Mahomes' contract impact Dak's contract? It shouldn't at all. What Dak should be aiming is at Mark's boy, Deshaun Watson. Whatever that money is, then that's more of a conversation that Dak can go in with leverage and say, okay, I've done just as much, if not more, than this guy. So this is where we should be on par with. But Pat Mahomes won an MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. He won an MVP of the Super. Like, don't aim for that. Like, no, that's way out of your realm.
I don't think that Dak is aiming for that. I think he's being realistic. I think he's just aiming in between that. I think he's definitely looking at, okay, I want this. Mahomes got this. Let's meet in the middle.
Right. And I think that's where we're like I said, it's really Watson is the one who's really going to speak volumes for Dak. 'Cause I think Dak doesn't want Wentz money. He wants more than Wentz money, but he wanted to see what the ceiling was with Pat Mahomes. So now that he has that number, he really kind of has more of a idea. Like, all right, the Cowboys aren't going to give me what Pat Mahomes just got. There's no chance in heck. So now we know what our parameters are to kind of have that contract negotiation. But like I said, honestly, I don't think it's going to get done by Wednesday. There's a lot to be ironed out by Wednesday. Like, it's pretty much Tuesday right now. Like, one day to fully get this thing ironed out and taken care of.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to wait and see type of thing. But I personally, guys, you're hearing it here on this side of the screen. Not that side where that side where Jay Tuck's at. But I'm telling you right now, on my side, it's definitely gonna get done. Let's just jump into the chat right now. Let's see what's looming over here. Nate Roseo, I'm probably not saying his name properly. This guy always drops into the stream and he always throws Drew Brees. I don't know what. Please elaborate what you mean by Drew Brees. It's something that you've always been writing. So please, I want you to elaborate on that. The Boys 2138. It worked out for Kirk Cousins, constantly being tagged, but no guarantee it will work out for Dak. Every player is always one injury away. Franchise QBs need that security. Totally agree. Totally
yeah,
agree.
because you have to understand, though, it worked out for Kirk Cousins, but he's no longer a Redskin. Like, so I don't, and that's the thing is, like, when it comes to Dak Prescott, and like, I wish I could find this tweet a long time ago, like Dak's rookie year. But I feel the way that Jerry Jones and the organization did Dak Prescott his rookie year with keeping that Romo shadow over him the entire time, I think that created a lot of bad blood between him and Jerry. So, like you said, Jerry is Dak's Jerry's guy. Is he really? And I think, by a lot of conversations that I hear, that Dak's really is not buddy-buddy with Jerry, going out to eat with Jerry and doing different things on his own. He's more of a locker room guy, which brings the locker room to corral around him. So it's never really been like, hey, Jerry, that's my guy. Let me give you a phone call. And like when Jerry probably wants to reach out to Dak probably gives the phone to Tom France and be like, you handle this. And I feel like there's kind of been like this bad blood that started way back in his rookie year. I mean, if you think about it, every game it was like, well, we're undecided yet. We're still going to continue to roll with Dak, but they were still focusing on possibly bringing back Romo. And Dak knew with one bad game, Romo was going to come back. So I think right now all of that has added up, and Dak is bringing that to the table when it comes to negotiations. Not to mention that they didn't give him a contract 2 years ago when he deserved it. So After Dak won that playoff game against Seattle, that's when Cowboys should have went to the table right then and there.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't think he would have as much money as he's wanting now.
Yeah, but I mean, for the Cowboys' sake, that's when they should have came to the table.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think, listen, what they've gotten out of Dak in the last 4 years, they need to be giving him the money. Don't give him
exactly.
Yes, he didn't earn Mahomes money. but he earned the money that I don't think he's being unreasonable. I don't. Listen, we all know there's different numbers being thrown out there. You know, he's asking for 38. At one point, I heard he was asking for 40. Nobody knows exactly what Dak's been asking because it's not real. He hasn't come out to say this is what I'm asking.
Exactly.
You know, it's all rumors, guys.
Exactly. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, John Lou, I hope this guy's not serious. Dak is next man up. $500 million / 9 years, fully guaranteed, and fully guaranteed for injury. This guy can't be serious.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm sure Dak would definitely take that, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But like I said, numerous times, if anyone on the we talked about being overpaid Cowboys players. If anyone deserves to be overpaid Cowboys player, is Dak Prescott in my book.
I totally agree. Listen, this is the future of the Dallas Cowboys. Even if he says I only want 4 years, let's sit down at the table. Let's figure out the next 4 years. Let's get a number out there, and then in 4 years we'll relook at everything, and if we undercut you, we'll make up for it.
Right.
You know, that's how I look at it. The boys 2138. Well, he got the money from the Vikings though, is what I meant. He's got his money from both teams.
Oh yeah. It worked out for Kirk Cousins. It didn't work out for the Redskins.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all know that. The boys 2138 definitely agreed with us. He's balled out like John Lou. Jerry Jones is never doing that contract. No, John Lou, I don't know what he's talking about. Dak will not get 9 years, and I don't think Dak even wants to sign for the Dallas Cowboys for 9 years.
Nah, he doesn't.
Listen, let's talk. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes made the right move. In my opinion, you're locked in for 10 years. In 5 years, your contract's not going to be nothing.
Pat Mahomes doesn't have to worry about anything financially for quite some time. Trust me on that. So he's taken care of. He's locked in with the Chiefs. He's more than good. So getting the deal done, knowing you're going to be a Chief for pretty much your career, the bulk of it's perfectly fine.
I just think signing for 10 years is, from my opinion, is too much. I would have did it for less. But like you said, he wants to remain a Chief for the rest of his life, for the rest of his career, and retire. And not even retire. I believe when his contract's up, he's going to be like 34, isn't he?
Yeah, 34. So, yeah, quarterbacks can play even longer. So,
exactly.
But I think,
yeah, 100%. The boys, Dak has still got a lot of money from marketing / sponsorship, and a lot of perks come with playing as a Cowboys.
Exactly. Because you think about it, if he goes and plays in Jacksonville, those Beats by Dre endorsements and Adidas things, they start to fade a little bit because nobody really cares.
Yeah, that's why, and I heard it come out earlier this year that Dak, people felt he's being too greedy, and the money that he's not getting with the Dallas Cowboys, he can make up for in endorsements. And I agree. I mean, being a Dallas Cowboys, having that star means a lot.
Right.
And jersey sales, whatever. There's so much things that he can get money from. So for him to be sitting there and nitpicking, like we said, again, it's all rumors, but there's rumors that he's nitpicking for a couple $1 million extra a year. And is it worth it? I'm not sure anymore.
Because where's different as a quarterback is that you have to think, if I take up the biggest slice of this pie, my team is going to be a lot different. And do I really want to, I have this highest contract and I want to top paid quarterbacks in the NFL, but we can't afford to pay your O-line. So you no longer have a center, and we can't afford Connor Williams and different things like that. And you're getting beat up the entire time in your career. Do you really want that? I mean, granted, a lot of our core is signed for quite some time, but you also want to make sure that you're having a competitive roster. And, as when it comes to the endorsements, Dak, you will make that up on the back end. I promise you, if you do right in Dallas and you win a Super Bowl, you'll never have to worry about money again, like ever.
Listen, I believe that's why I think it's so important for Dak to sign this year. Because if Dak turns around and signs and wins us a Super Bowl, just imagine the endorsements that are going to come in after that.
Exactly. I mean, you think about a lot of the Cowboy greats, from Darren Woodson to Emmitt Smith to Michael Irvin to Troy Aikman, like those guys are taken care of for the rest of their life. They don't have to worry about anything.
No, 100%. So do you think that if let's say Dak doesn't sign, okay?
Right.
Do you think Dak will come out and be just as hungry? Because, I said it in I believe it was Mark, and I think he made sense when he said this. If Dak stays under the franchise tag, he will definitely go out there because he still has something to prove because he still wants to get that contract next year. But do you think that he'll come out and be that same player that he'll take as much chances as he did last year?
A lot of people disagree when I say this, but I don't believe so. I don't believe so because you think about it, you're gonna feel. And granted, Dak is human; he's a great leader, but you're gonna feel some type of way. I mean, granted, look at it from Dak's perspective, right? He's done everything the right way from day one, from being his rookie season, from being forced into being the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Never got into any trouble, never, did anything remotely to jeopardize not only his brand, but the Cowboys brand. And then you sit back and you look back at your counterpart, Zeke, who's been suspended, he's been in trouble, all in the media and all sorts of stuff, and he gets his money. I don't care who you are, you have to sit back and say, this is BS. I mean, we're all human. We do it, at work. If we're showing up on time and doing our job and going above and beyond, but the guy who shows up late comes in and, leaves early and all this stuff and he's half doing his job, but he gets the raise and you don't, you're going to be upset. So I feel like there's going to be some type of resentment for Dak this season. Now, he will come in and he'll do his job, but will he do his job at the same capacity that he was doing it before? I don't think so. Because if you come in, let's say, for instance, you have a slight shoulder injury. Maybe I need to stay out practice today. What's wrong, Dak? Well, my shoulder is kind of bruised. Well, then you go out there? No, because I'm not on a guaranteed contract, so I don't want to risk it. So put in Andy Dalton, let him run the reps. And I feel like it's just a natural feeling. Granted, you can go out there and still play, but there's something going to be inside you saying like, man, this is BS, and rightfully so. So that's the one thing, and I've been saying this. We have weapon after weapon after weapon with this Cowboys team, but Dak Prescott is the most critical piece to putting this all together. And so for him to go into the season having this resentment is not a good look, and it's really not good for our season. But I feel like that's what's going to happen now.
Yeah, man, I agree with you up to a certain point. I don't think that Dak's going to go out there and take as many chances as he did last year. But on the flip side of things, I got to look at it in another way. Let's say Dak doesn't have a productive year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not as productive as he did last year. Doesn't put up much yardage, not as many touchdowns. Do you think that that'll hurt his negotiations? Because I think it does. I think that, if I'm Jerry Jones next year, I'm going to say, well, Dak, you know what? You're asking for big money, but your numbers this year are not as great as the year before. So now I'm going to talk you down a little bit.
Absolutely not. It doesn't hurt Dak because the difference between Dak and other quarterbacks, that Dak is free. So the only choice that Jerry Jones would have is either give Dak a contract or franchise tag him again.
And that's why I think that the Dallas Cowboys might turn around and franchise tag him again to make him prove himself again. If he doesn't put up good numbers again.
If you franchise Dak, so what happens if you franchise him twice and then we lose him? So if you franchise tag Dak Prescott 2 times, we lose him as our quarterback.
He's a free agent. Peace out.
Yeah, and so I think that's the risk, and I think that's probably why you're probably going to see him go under the franchise tag with the season looming next year. It puts everything in the Cowboys' hands once again.
All right, man. I definitely see it on you. Just show me another flip side of things. But
I just don't see Dak taking a pay cut, bro. I just don't see it happening. Like,
do you think Dak still wants to be a Cowboy? Oof.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I think he does, but I think he's saying he came in, he gave the Cowboys 4 great, decent seasons at a premium. Yep. It's time for them to take care of him. And it's just as simple as that.
No, man, I totally agree. I think that we need to take care. It's like you said, man. There's certain things just don't make sense, and sometimes I don't understand how Jerry Jones does things.
Right.
Because, like you said, Zeke gave him problems.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke was he got into a car accident that tried to be covered up. That came out.
St. Patrick's Day.
If it's not one thing, it's another. And he got his money. And to me, Dak is an angel compared to Zeke.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's done everything the right way. He represents the brand proudly. Like you never have to worry about Dak, anything like that. So just do right by him. Do right by him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Remember, I think he missed one practice. One
One
practice
practice. One
in
practice.
the whole 4 years that he's been with the Dallas Cowboys, and he's a leader. He's first. Supposedly he's first in, last out. Like,
Right.
there's just so much about this guy, and I hate. I don't know if you see it too, but they're saying that Dak is not that great of a. He's not able to throw the long ball. And what? Have you seen his stats?
Yeah. Stat wise, because actually the thing that came out today, and I was talking about on Twitter, I'm a Madden player, and I think Dak's overall rating is like a 84 overall. So the Saints fan who's in here, like Drew Brees is ranked higher, and Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. I'm just like, I just don't understand the Dak disrespect. It's like, what more do you want from him? I'm like, if a few of those games, you take away the Bills game, the Browns, or the Bears game,
Chicago.
the Jets game last year, and we just add those 3 games on, and we're an 11 to 12 win team last year, Dak Prescott's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And
I've said it in my channel, and I said, under Mike McCarthy, I'm telling you now, Dak will become an elite QB.
he absolutely will.
And
I agree.
I believe you'll see Dak in the Hall of Fame.
And there's nothing where I watch Dak and just be like, oh man, he can't do that. He can't do that. Everything that he needed to improve on, he improves on, and his trajectory, and you watch his improvements, footwork, his accuracy, throwing the deep ball, just controlling the huddle and line of scrimmage, like everything he's improved since his rookie year. Yep. He's shown improvement, done everything the right way. It's just, I don't know. Cowboys don't want to give him his money.
The Dak dance, man. The Dak dance.
Right.
Listen, I just want to touch on one last topic, one last comment here. The boys 21-38, and I believe he's right. The Eagles game last season, Week 16, I believe hurt his contract negotiations.
It did, but then it didn't because we all knew he had a shoulder injury. And so here's my thing with the Eagles game, and I said this on my channel as well. That should have been Zeke's game. That should have been where, hey, we know that Dak is hurt. He's not 100%. Like, Zeke, we need you to be the beast and really dominate this game, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. Mark Henry said, that's big talk, Sid. What, I don't know. What is big talk, Mark? Please chime in. Let me know exactly what you're talking about. The boys 21-38, big shout out to this guy. Definitely keeping the chat alive. I agree Mike McCarthy will only help improve Dak as well. I think everybody sees that. Listen, having Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys is going to be huge. I want to ask you something that I didn't want to get into it, but I'm going to ask you. Jamal Adams.
Right.
I got to ask.
Yeah.
Do you want him to become a Dallas Cowboy? Do you see him becoming Dallas Cowboy?
No, not at all. It's just all fantasy talking for Twitter. But it's fun to have, but it's not going to happen.
Listen,
there's no way, because what's going to happen, the Jets are going to raise the premium too high. I know everyone got mad at me because I was saying, like, we should trade Lyle Collins for Jamal Adams and then, Michael Gallup. But, I think that if the Jets are going to move on from Adams, one, if it's coming to the Cowboys, because he stated numerous times that's where he wants to come, their premium's going to be extremely high. So it might be 2 firsts and a third and, maybe Connor Williams or something we have to come up off that they know the Cowboys can't do, right? And so I don't see that happening, and I know how we are in free agency when he's a free agent next year possibly, then we're not going to sign Jamal Adams. We've been through this. We've been through this, and I granted Cowboys fans, we've been wanting a safety so long. We haven't had one really since Darren Woodson. But no, Earl Thomas is not going to come. We passed on that. We passed on Mika Fitzpatrick. We didn't draft Derwin James in the draft. So Jamal Adams will just be another, one of those safety players that we passed on and we'll miss out on. So I don't see it happening at all.
Yeah, big talk, man. I'm with you. And Spoonie's a guy from Star Gang. This guy, Route 33, and he's Jamal Adams fan. Like, you have no idea.
Right.
He's saying that the Dallas Cowboys are going to pick him up. Listen, I don't want Adams. I don't think, and I've said it before, I think he's a box safety. He's had 1 interception in the last 3 years. Listen, granted, he's a good player. I've watched his highlights. Yeah, definitely. He's one of the top players, but I just don't see him being a good fit for the Dallas Cowboys. And I promised Spoonie, I said, if Jamal Adams signs with the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm gonna say it again live, that I was gonna buy him a Jamal Adams jersey and send it to him.
Well, here's the thing about Jamal Adams, and I'll say this. If Jamal Adams was to come to the Cowboys, he doesn't just change our football team, he changes our organization. Like, he changes the way that football is played in Dallas. Like, we all in this chat, and you and me both love Dez, but Dez was an offensive player. We've really never had that type of player on defense for quite some time. And Jamal Adams is that guy. He's an attitude. He's a spark plug. Like, he's just that guy. He's that lit. Like, even though we just talked about the Redskins, like, one of my favorite players all time was like Sean Taylor. There's a lot of Sean Taylor and Jamal Adams. And that type of player is just a lightning rod through your organization. But it ain't going to happen. So we'll wait. We'll wait for next year. I think we're going to draft a safety. But like I said, I like Clinton Dix, and I think, I'm personally a Xavier Woods fan, so I'm ready to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think Woods is going to have a great year because he hears the chit-chat. Everything is there with Woods. It's just staying there, staying solid, making the proper reads, because he gets too eager a lot and he gets out of position. So,
man, I totally agree. I said it on the Star Gangs chat the other day. I said Woods is going to have a breakout year this year. Yeah. Definitely check him out. I think that he's going to bring things to the Dallas Cowboys. Man, right. J-Tuck, I appreciate you being on the show. Let
Anytime,
the
my
people
man.
know where to find you. I know you're going to say somewhere down there.
somewhere down there.
Let them know what's up, where to find you on Twitter and on Facebook, please.
Yep, so find me on Twitter at JTuck151. I follow all Cowboys fans back. So make sure you holler at me, let me know you came from the show, and I'll definitely follow you back because I just love talking Cowboys sports with my Cowboys family. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Cowboys Fans Only. It's my name pretty much in the chat. So Cowboys Fans Only with the S. So come over to my side, man. We have a great show. Talk about Cowboys a lot, Cowboys football and stuff like that. So the community's growing. A lot of great people, man. Sid, we're going to have to bring you on soon. I'm trying to wait till the season really gets start because, things are kind of just in loom, but as soon as things get started with camp, we're going to bring you on, man. We'll definitely have some fun. I'm also on Facebook. If you're a Facebooker, follow me on the Cowboys Fans Only Facebook page. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate you bringing me on. Like I said, it's family here, and same thing on my channel, man. So I appreciate you, Sid, man. I have a great time every time me and you link up, and we'll definitely do it some more.
Yeah, man, 100%. Guys, again, if you look down below, there's a scroller going by. If you haven't are not able to find him, it's here. Look at the video. Definitely the Twitter information's there, and his Facebook page is scrolling at the bottom. Guys, don't forget to go check him out. Click that subscribe button. What we do here, guys, is not easy. This is actually a grind, and the more support we have, the more we'll be able to do for you guys, and the more content we want to bring you. Don't forget to click my subscribe button on my channel, Dallas Cowboys for Life. Also, my YouTube as well is definitely Facebook. Not YouTube, sorry. Facebook is down here. Definitely go check that out. Check out my channel. Click that subscribe button. J-Tuck's information is on my page as well. The videos will be up on both our pages. Don't forget to stay safe. And don't forget to definitely check us out again. Thank you for tuning in to Speak Your Mind all the time. It's your boy Sid.
It's your boy J-Tuck signing off.
And we're out.
Peace. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, we're done, man.
All right. Man, it was like